Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In this video today I'm going to show you how to make this little ice cave here. Now I've stamped it with a fairy stamper stamp, a little fairy, but you can put anything you want inside the cave. But it's all crystally and watery and dreamy. So let's go ahead and look at the supplies you're going to need. And so we're starting out with just a piece of scrap paper and your distress glitter, a couple of gel pens, a quickie glue pen. Love these things, they're awesome. Gonna need your stamp, whatever stamp you decide to use. Again, I use this Fairy Hugs Azelia stamp. And you see it's all taken apart because I lost the first part of my video. I'm going to be using Simon Hurley inks for the most of this video, and Breakup Blue, Remember Me, Midnight Snack, Clear Skies, and Crown Me. Then I'll also be using Versafine Claire and Monarch, and I'll be using Ranger's Pigment Ink in Glacier White. Gonna need a paper towel, and you'll see what that's for. I got these cool blending brushes off of Amazon, 10 bucks. Can't beat them, they're really great. And I'll use them for all the Simon Hurley ink. Gonna need a pencil, pair of scissors, another pair of scissors, and this is the stencil that I made because, like I said, my phone wasn't recording when I first started making this, and that's the other one I made for my prototype, one of the two. And so we can go ahead and get started. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna draw your crystals, and this is just kind of a scribbly scribble, but you just basically want to draw out the crystals however you think your crystal should look. You saw how mine looked. And then what I'm going to do is, I have this sped up because I don't want you to have to go through watching me painstakingly cut these things out. But you don't have to cut them perfect. Don't even really have to follow the lines, just kind of cut them. And I cut the whole length of the paper so that I have a variety of shapes that I can work with. Try not to get too close to the top there if you can help it, because it gets a little flimsy on you. But you see, they're not all just straight up and down, they kind of vary. There we go. There's our little stencil. Now that we've got the stencil done, we can go ahead and get started on the crystals. And we're going to start with the crystal background. We're going with a pretty light hand, and again, I have sped this up because I learned how. And I'm going to go in with the Clear Skies, and I'm just going to make light streaks here and there. Pretty light-handed. I mostly want to stay light-handed towards the center because I'll be covering up a lot of the top and bottom. But you'll see, I accidentally get a little bit heavy-handed there. And then I'm going to switch to the Remember Me, and it's just a little bit darker shade of blue with some sort of greenish in it. I love these colors. These ink pads they need to be re-inked, and I just bought them. I haven't even used them. So anyways, we're going in with Breakup Blue, which is a really pretty kind of periwinkle type blue. It's almost a purple. Anyways, Ranger is sending me the re-inkers at no cost because I emailed and said help. Next, we're going to go in with Crown Me, and real light hand with that because it's a dark color. See, whoops, yeah. Oh well, it is what it is. I'm not going to start over because I've done like 5 of these today. And then finally, I'm going in with the Midnight Snack, mostly around the edges, just to darken them up. And yeah, Now I have to decide. I think I'll start my top crystals where my boo-boo is, to kind of cover it up, hopefully. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna lay your makeshift stencil, and you want it in the top third, and you're gonna go in with your lightest color. In this case, I go in with Clear Skies first, and I go in heavy around the little peaks and valleys, but otherwise it doesn't have to be precise or go all the way to the top. It just, mostly you're just wanting to get those shapes because you're going to be putting other colors on top of it. And so then I'm going to go in the same order with them, going from light to dark. So I'm going to go in with the Remember Me, and again hit those peaks and valleys pretty heavy. And notice I'm moving my stencil into different spots so that I'm not getting the same kind of stencil design over and over. And we can flip it over a little bit, and this is the Breakup Blue. It looks so pretty. All these colors blend together really nicely. And we'll go in with the Crown Me, and I'm going to go in pretty heavy with that, but pretty close to the top. Because I don't want, I want it to look like a distance, so the darker stuff is going to be in the foreground. And in my case, the dark is very dark purple. And yeah, we're going to go in, just move that stencil around and fill in places that I wasn't crazy about. And then I want to have the edge coming down some so that I kind of can frame the picture. So I just move my stencil there so that I can get the kind of dark colors into that area as well. And then I'll just flip it over and do the same to the other side. And you just gotta kind of look for a spot on the stencil that looks like it'll kind of hang down but stay towards the stay towards the outside without going in too far. And there we go. Okay, that's the top. Now we're going to go in for the bottom. It's pretty much the same procedure, but I did not use all of the colors, so I used the darker colors and the Breakup Blue. But before we do that, we're going to add our water. And this is just a white pigment ink pad, and I'm going to grab my paper towel and also a spare piece of cardstock so I can get that straight. And I could use a ruler, but yeah, I can't be asked to go find one. And I'm just going to decide where I want my water, about the bottom fourth. And I'm just going to use my paper towel to grab my ink and just kind of rub it on, and it'll kind of help with that funky spot down there too. So the only thing I found, and maybe you guys have some ideas, is that when I'm doing silhouette stamping over something like that, what happens is that the stamp, it just doesn't stamp properly. I don't even know how to explain it. It's almost like two different colors of ink. But anyway, you'll see that a little bit later. So now that I've got my water, I'm going to clean my hands because, yeah, you can see I'm getting a lot of smudges there from my surface there. So just clean it off real quick, and then go ahead and start with my crystals on the bottom. And I want them to be, pretty low down. I want, some of my water to show up. And you don't even have to have water if you don't want. I just wanted it. So I'm just going to kind of line that up about, looks like about 3/8 of an inch from the water line. And I'm going to go in with the Crown Me and my little brush. That's not my brush. There's my brush. And I'm just going to fill in the spots there. And I'll pick it up and, see where else I want maybe a little bit more. I definitely want the bottom pretty full. And I'm going to go in now with the Breakup Blue. Just kind of change up the color. And, so I can get a little heavier there. on the larger spots. Now, one of my stencils, not this one, the other one I made, I took and covered it both sides with the collage medium so that it would be a little bit more durable, so I could use it, you know, a few times. Lastly, I'm going to go in with the Midnight Snack and finish up my foreground here. These little brushes are great. Jen, Knable? Jen, you're gonna have to tell me how to say your name. Anyways, I was talking about getting the Simon Says Stamps ones, and she's like, no, wait, I know something. So anyway, she gave me a link to find these on Amazon. They're probably not as good of quality as the Simon Says Stamps ones, but it's okay. And so here what I'm doing is I'm going in and just, again, framing in. And you can frame in as deep as you want to, but I'm, you know, I don't need to go that deep. There we go. Yeah, I like that. All right, so I love it just the way it is, but we're gonna step it up here a bit. And first things first is we're going to need to put inks away and heat set that really well, because I'll be doing some embossing. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little film, cling film off of there, or acetate film, and I'm going to decide on the placement of my fairy. And we know she's not sitting on the water or in midair. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my stencil and I'm going to find a comfortable place for her to sit, because obviously some of those places might not be that great. There we go. That doesn't look too sharp. We'll set it and see what, if you can barely see, but I can see her bottom underneath there, and then I'll just get that out of the way. And I'll create a little rock right there for her to be sitting on. And here's where, yeah, I think she's going to sit great there, but I know that when I stamp her down with the VersaFine, it's going to be lighter there. And so I thought I might try to remove some of the pigment ink from that spot, just by wiping it off. But you can see in the sample there, there's definitely a line where it could be she's sitting under the water. And honestly, I have not figured out how to get around that yet, nor have I really tried to. So here's my first attempt at trying to get around that, and I end up erasing part of my rock. And then when I go to put my rock back in, I put a sharp rock. Yes, whatever. It is what it is. She covers the rock pretty well. It's just the white pigment ink that's the problem. See, I put a sharp one there. Doggone it, Bobby. What do you think you're doing? Oh, well. That's the crafter's world. Yeah, especially mine. So now I'm happy with how that's going. I'm going to go ahead and get out my stamping platform and give that a quick dry, because I did use a little water to wipe that off. And as soon as I think it's dry, I'm going to go ahead and get out my stamping platform. And I apologize, it's out of frame for a bit of this. It's kind of hard with my phone, because if I have my phone too far away, then you guys can't see it. The video just doesn't zoom very well, I guess, or I just don't know what I'm doing. But anyways, I'm going to place her there, that little piece of acetate that has the black marking on it, and then I set the stamp right on top of that, because it just kind of helps make sure I get the placement correct. And once I'm happy with that, I just go ahead and close the lid and remove that little piece of acetate. And then I can go ahead and start to stamp her out. I'm going to use my anti-static powder first. Look, I didn't forget. And I can see too, now that I'm looking at it later, I can see there where there's pigment ink on her, left over from the last one demo I was doing, or my prototype. Yeah. Go ahead and ink her up. Wipe off that excess ink, because if it's gonna be me, I'm gonna get it on my picture. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just press down. I'm gonna use my little glider tool to kind of help press down, get that ink on there. And that's the VersaFine Claret Monarch. Love that color. But I can see her legs are blotchy, so I'm gonna try and get a second layer on here and see if it helps out at all. And again, I've got my heat tool warming up in the background because I don't want to, you know, warp my paper, so I want it to be as hot as possible. And I'm gonna live with the way she stamped there. I'm gonna move this stuff out of the way. I'm gonna grab my Wow Clear embossing powder and just go ahead and sprinkle it on, and then you'll see how I've got a two-tone fairy there. It just annoys me. I wish I can fix that. I know somebody's gonna know how. Please let me know in the comment section. But I'm happy with the color, so, you know, that's something. And then, okay, now we're going on to the next step, and that's to go ahead and add the crystal, sparkly crystals. And you don't have to add them. I just wanted to because I think they're cool. But what we want to do here is we want to grab our another piece of scrap paper, and I'm going to grab my quickie glue pen, and I have this speeding this up because, you know, it takes a minute. So in the interest of time, I know I lose you guys if I make my videos too long. I'm going to go ahead and just outline each one of those little crystals the best I can, the best I can see. And I'll be using the Tim Holtz Distress Glitter to glitter that, you know, glitter it up, bling it up. And here's me just doing the outlines. Man, I'm so glad I found this pen. This is the coolest thing. So I don't do the whole thing because I'm afraid my glue will dry. I'll do half, and then I'll do the other half, just to make sure. But you can see that glue goes on wet. And you could use any kind of glitter too. I like the Distress Rock Candy glitter because it's actually clear. But you could use an iridescent glitter here. You could use a purple, an ice blue. Sky's the limit there. But you'll see how that makes them look a little more like ice. You could go in and glitter some up completely if you wanted to, but it's going to be a bit much for me. Okay, and there's the top half. And that's as fast as I could speed it up, guys. Sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and just do my water line. And then I'm gonna make some shimmeries in the water. And they're gonna be larger in the back and shorter towards the front, to give that kind of movement feel. And then finally I'm gonna just do the bottom here. Bottom goes a lot quicker because there's not as many crystals, not as many colors. You could do all the colors if you wanted to. Really experiment, see what you like. It's only paper and ink and time. There. That didn't take long at all because magic of speeding up videos. I'm just going to get some of that excess glitter off of her because she doesn't need to be glittered. And finally, I just want to color in her wings there a little bit because they are, you know, they normally would be translucent, but I want them to have a little bit of color to them. So I'm just going in with the green pen here, green gel glitter pen thing, and just coloring in between the lines best I can. Luckily with silhouette stamping, there's not a whole lot of coloring to do. I don't mind coloring, I actually like it. I like watercolor and painting and coloring with pens, alcohol ink, crayons. I like it all. I just love some color. And I'm going to go in and color those little flowers in her hair as well. Get some little purple. There we go. Got our little ice crystal cave and our little fairy sitting there contemplating. Guys, thanks a lot for watching my video, and you know, I appreciate that. Oh yeah, I went around the edge of just a white card base and with both the purple and the blue before I stuck her down. So that was my original, the one where the video quit on me. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up and leave your comments. Have yourself a great day.